Hey everybody, how's it going? Episode 14, I think. Um, just gonna keep mining for some quartz today. I still need quite a bit, and I'm gonna rant about something probably a little nerdier than I normally do. Um, but I rewatched the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer today, or last night actually, not today. Um, and I am just so not excited for it, and I'm really worried at this point. Oops. Um, I'll leave that be. I, I really like The Mandalorian. I really loved the first season. Um, as a concept, I really, I enjoy Western stories, and kind of the space Western we got in the first season and kind of the second. Um, I just really love that, and I was watching the movie trailer again, and it's just so not that at all. Like, it's just he's. I don't mean this in a bad way, but he's more important than he should be. Like, he shouldn't be. The whole point of the Mandalorian was he's just a bounty hunter, and that's what people liked about him. I mean, it was nice to have a story that was not connected to the greater universe at large. It was just this little character drama uh, about a Mandalorian, which is something most Star Wars fans are pretty interested in knowing more about. Um, and it just sucks. It doesn't really feel like that anymore. And I think um, there's arguments for why he is as important as he is now. I just don't think they're fair. I think it's kind of an unfair assessment of the story. Um, but um, it really kind of started with season two with his kind of connection with the larger Mandalorian universe, which I didn't hate. I really didn't. Um, but especially, by Book of Boba Fett, um, they kind of groom him to be this new Mandalore figure, and I just, I don't know, because I'm not even against him, being the new Mandalore. Um, I just hate that he is, I don't know, so important to the. It's like they're replacing, or they're putting him in, the kind of Thrawn story that they're going to do. Um, and I love Thrawn, so I'm very excited to see more Thrawn. Um, but I'm just kind of worried at this point that, um, I mean, I think it's just going to be not very good. Shoot, there goes that torch. I'm worried it won't be any good at all because I find it hard to make a compelling story about Thrawn versus the Mandalorian. Um, that isn't a story we've already done. Like, there's only so many times you can kidnap Grogu or, whatever. And um, I'm afraid we're getting dangerously close to that point of lost returns, where the Mandalorian just doesn't have any more new stories to tell because um, we're all just burnt out on bad guy shows up, bad guy kidnaps Grogu, they go to save Grogu, somebody dies, and on to next week. Um, and that sucks because I really think, oh Jesus, uh, anyways, I think, you know, there's really the Mandalorian is a special, special character. I actually need to pick up some soul sand while I'm here. Um, you know, he's kind of a return to form for Star Wars characters, if that makes sense. If you guys aren't really fans of the Legends stuff, it probably doesn't matter too much to you. Um, but characters were just written differently. Yeah, 40 soul sand should be good. Um, in Legends. Um, not that, you know, I think there's plenty of good stuff and there's plenty of good stuff in the new canon, and there's plenty of bad stuff in Legends. Um, but I do enjoy Legends more, truthfully. Ooh. Oh, I about had a heart attack right there. That would have been so bad. Um, anyways, I don't know. I really hate most. I hate's a strong word. I don't really hate anything. Oh, what the hell? What are you doing here? Oh, okay. I guess he's gone. I'm gonna sit here and heal for a minute. Um. Anyways, I just really hate kind of the new. Right now, everything feels like it has to be important, if that makes sense. Like, you know, there's not really any stories that are just fun stories on their own, if that makes any sense. Because, you know, I think about my favorite Legends stories, and, you know, there are, uh, you know, Heir to the Empire, for example. That's definitely one of my favorites, and uh, that's about as important as it gets. To be honest, it's one of the better Star Wars stories in general. Truthfully, like I really think it's probably the best thing since Empire Strikes Back. If I had to rank, I don't really like to rank Star Wars movies or media really, um, because there's something different for everybody. But Heir to the Empire and really the Thrawn trilogy and the Hand of Thrawn duology are just so good, and they're super important. So that's kind of not what I'm talking about here really. Um, but there's a ton of different stories that aren't as important to the wider canon at large, I guess, if that makes sense. Um, they're just kind of stories set in their own time and place for fun. Um, and I think of stuff like, uh, you know, most of the Quinlan Voss stuff. You know, he is important to the main canon, especially right now in the main canon universe. But he had a lot of fun stories, just fun, like not super relevant to the wider um, story at large, I guess, if that makes sense. Um, and that's just kind of what I'm missing. I'm missing stories that don't really mean that much, you know. Because I think there's a lot of opportunity in Star Wars to make some interesting stuff that's not about Skywalkers or not about you know, the Rebellion and the Republic and the Empire. Um, you know, there's great stories to be told there too. I don't think we're done with that at all. And I hate that we haven't had any movies. But it's just kind of falling flat, I guess. I think the appeal to most about the Mandalorian. What is going on in there? The appeal about the Mandalorian was that he's not connected to the main universe, and that's what people needed at the time. It came out right after. Was it Rise of Skywalker or The Last Jedi? I think it was Rise of Skywalker. And so many people were just done with Star Wars. They were so frustrated. Um, and I get that. I hated Rise of Skywalker. It's the only Star Wars movie I genuinely can't rewatch because I just get upset. Um, you know, I can even find reasons to praise The Last Jedi, even though I don't really care for the direction. Is that ancient debris? What the heck? Huh. Nice. I guess I'll take the... I didn't know it spawned up this high. That's kind of cool. Anyways, I really just don't, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how to say this diplomatically, but it was the kind of masterpiece of The Mandalorian was that it came at a time when people needed something not connected to the main universe, um, so they could remember why they love Star Wars. Because there's a lot. I mean, everybody has a different reason why they love Star Wars, but there's just so much opportunity to tell interesting stories, but also I think the um, kind of universe at large just has interesting stories. Sorry, but not necessarily, you know, these giant space operas like the first. I guess really the movies in general. Um, Other than like, I don't know, Solo. I don't know if I consider that really a giant story. Um, Maybe Rogue One too. I think there's an argument it's not um, a huge story as well, even though it's pretty important. Um, Anyways, I just think it's sad that we can't have a good story just be a good story. You know, it's gotta always connect back now, and I think part of that is kind of the Disney um, effect. I think they. Whoa, dude, nice. Anything in here? What is this? A lodestone. Okay. Oh, is this the respawn anchor? I guess we'll have a look real quick. Somebody has been here. This is a man-made hole. Oh shoot! Oh shoot! Oh shoot! I don't have my. Oh god. Dang it! I'm withered. Frick. Ah. Okay, we're good. Anyways, I really just... Oh shoot, they can still spawn. Oh god. Oh god. I thought the spawns stopped. Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. Get me out of there. Ooh, that was a close one. Um, anyways, back to the important stuff. The Mandalorian is kind of, it's just sad that, oh my god, there's so many. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so dead. I'm so dead. Never mind, we're so back. Oops. Okay, we're good. Anyways, I dislike the Disneyfication of everything. I think it's dumb that every every good story has to then be connected to the main universe, because I don't... Oh, jeez. I don't know, I don't like that. I think, you know, Disney is so desperate for a win with Star Wars, that they're gonna, you know, ruin the value of it. Just by the nature of making people lose interest, because, you know, most people, I feel, are kind of, oops, you know, like, I like Baby Yoda, Grogu, I like the Mandalorian. I don't really care how they save the universe. That's not really what I'm interested in here. I'm just kind of, I think Baby Yoda's cute, and I want to see them do... Okay, where did that shot go? Anyways, I just think people don't care as much about Baby Yoda and Grogu as Disney thinks they do. I think, you know, people like them for what they are, but they're not interested in the hero story of how Mandalorian and Baby Yoda saved the universe, because that's not... They just don't care about it enough. Start another vein over here. So that just kind of makes me sad that, you know, so many people are gonna lose interest in Star Wars because they're just so desperate to have a next face of the universe. Especially because they've had some, you know? And they've just failed with them. I mean, they were handed Star Wars at the healthiest it's ever been, since Empire came out, especially since the prequels came out. And they had, you know, these great storylines they could just adapt, and they just canceled the Clone Wars when everybody was enjoying it the most, to make Rebels. And I really do like Rebels, but you know, they already had Clone Wars, which could have made them money, so it just sucked to see them cancel it to do basically the same thing, but just a little worse, because oops, because Rebels, I mean, the best episodes are better than most Clone Wars episodes. There's only a handful of Clone Wars arcs that I would say are untouchables in Star Wars. but we um, sorry, one second. We only had, or we already had, we had the storytelling and everything already. It was already set up for the Clone Wars. Um, and they just canceled it, and I really don't think we'll ever get to find out why, which makes me sad. Um, it just makes me sad that, I guess we did get the final season, which was really just 3 arcs, and it's not great. Um, I don't know. I especially just hate that it was all set up for other stuff. Um, other than the last arc, which, was always part of the plan, the Mandalore siege. And that, I mean, that is untouchable as Star Wars gets. That's some of the best Star Wars ever. But, the rest just never. I don't know. Like, the Bad Batch was chosen because it was set up for. They wanted to do the Bad Batch TV show. Which, again, I really like, and I think it's pretty good in general. But I think, there's way more interesting storylines they could have chosen. This was kind of Clone Wars fans' last chance to enjoy the show they grew up on. Because I was 7 when it came out, and last episode was 2020, so I was 19 when it ended. I literally grew up with the show. Or I might have been 20 by the time it came out. But it just sucks that, this was our chance to say goodbye to the stories that I grew up on, and it was all set up for other stuff. And I don't even hate, the Martinez arc as much as most. I really didn't like it, but I don't think it's as bad as everybody says. Oh shoot. Anyways, all that to say, I think Disney's kind of their desire to get a win is going to kill them because it's caused so many issues at this point. Like they made the sequels, and for whatever you think about them, they were fresh new life in the universe. Episode 7 had the most viewed trailer of all time when it came out. And say what you will about them, there was a lot of hope that this was going to right the ship in regards to Disney and their ownership of Star Wars. And then, we were all interested in. Okay, there's some more stone. We were all interested in Kylo Ren. Obviously, I think he's a very interesting character. And I think Rey can be interesting at times. I don't really care too much about Rey anymore. At least I was interested. Oh God. I was interested once upon a time about her story, but I really just kind of the mishandling of the sequels burnt it out on me. And they're still trying to make, they're trying to make Rey work, and I'm all for that. I mean, I think that's how I ended up with Anakin in the Clone Wars, who we all love now was because somebody decided I don't want to give up on Anakin. Um, and so I'm not against uh, these new race stories. Um, but I think really what just kind of set everybody off the edge about Star Wars is, the hunt for Ben Solo stuff. I think, the comments made by Bob Iger and the Disney leadership that, they don't want to touch Ben Solo anymore, really just kind of killed any excitement for Star Wars for a lot of people because, I don't know, it just feels like we are all realizing that they don't really care about Star Wars. They care about the money, um, and that's just sucks because that's not really. It's not how Star Wars operated when I was growing up. There was a lot of Star Wars stuff out there, and most of it didn't make much money. Um, but it was great still. Um, I think about the Star Wars Clone Wars MMORPG uh, all of the time. It was one of my favorite games as a kid. Um, and I cannot imagine it made money. There's just no way. Um, but I played it all of the time as a kid. It was so fun. Um, and it just sucks we don't really see. We get the Jedi series, which I really do love. I think the two Jedi, what is it? It's Jedi Survivor and what was the first one called? Why am I blanking? Uh, Jedi Fallen Order, is that what it was? Um, Anyways, I think they're some of the best Star Wars games we've gotten, especially recently. Um, but we used to get so many weird Star Wars games, and it was great. I mean, it was just wonderful. It was like they would see, oh, this game's pretty popular right now. Let's make a Star Wars version of it. And that was great. I really loved that. I think, one of my favorite, um, one of my favorite Star Wars games to this day is the Star Wars Empire at War game, and it's literally a Star Wars ripoff of another game, and that's not something I'm upset about. I think it's done really well, and I think the original Age of War I think is great on its own for sure, but I think it really does benefit from the Star Wars brand being put on top of it, I guess, if that makes sense. Um, I think it just they mesh together really well, and so I just I hate that we don't get stuff like that anymore. We get a new Fallen Order game every once in a while, and that's it. And it's just hard to be in that place where I don't hate what's coming out. I really don't. I really like the stuff that's coming out, but I think part of the issue is we're missing all the other stuff. I think what really kind of am I going the wrong way? I think I'm going the wrong way. I think what made Star Wars special was there was all that other stuff. Most of it was not good. I think that was kind of what people loved about it. Yeah, this is the way I meant to go. And we're just missing all that now. We're missing, The Force Unleashed, which is not exactly critically, it's not exactly the best game, but you know, it's got this huge fan base because uh, you know, it's Star Wars and there's enough good stuff in it to make people love the genre. And I think we're just missing that. I think there's a lot of, you know, very corporate decisions going on and it's taking a lot of steam out of the franchise. And that makes me sad. Anyways, I'm probably gonna end it there for today. We got a lot more course. We'll probably need to get some more, so I'll probably take it back to the new house and see how far we get with it in the next episode, and then we can go and mine some more if we need to. Thanks for watching, though. I really appreciate you guys sticking around and watching this, watching me rant about something that means something to me. Um, I really appreciate that you guys sit and listen to this, so if you're still here, I really do appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm trying to respond to all the comments as I have time. Um, so if I don't respond to your comment immediately, just know I will as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. See ya.